Welcome to Capital Business. My name is Margaret Njuguna. Today we are joined by Scribe Services partner Bernard Kirago, who's going to talk to us about corporate governance. Hey, how are you?
Fine, Margaret. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start with the definitions. What exactly is corporate governance? And in that heartbeat, what is poor corporate governance?
Well, I think going by definitions, really talk about the systems, processes, procedures that are in place to ensure shareholder interests are taken care of in line with the stewardship. Whereas all shareholders cannot be directors that cannot manage the company. So, in effect, they elect directors who then appoint and supervise management to ensure that all interests are catered for.
Okay, so kindly describe to us or explain to us exactly what is ailing the corporate governance circles. What are the issues?
I think previously what we're seeing is really historical, but now since the introduction of the Corporate Governance Code by the Capital Markets Authority, we expect that these are things that are changing. We are seeing more of the reporting, because among the things proposed by the code is whistleblowing, which I think is very, very effective in really getting this news out there, at least enabling the regulators to look at these matters and to address them. Among other requirements are requirements for conduct of governance audits, filing a governance report within 4 months of the end with the Capital Markets Authority. So I think we are sealing the loopholes and we're getting there.
Okay, talking about some of the giant companies that have fallen, where do you think they went wrong in terms of corporate governance?
I think previously we really were operating without a framework, but now the code is very clear. It's clear what shareholders should do, what boards should do, management, clear separation of powers. I think in years gone by, we had companies which had executive chairman. Now the CMA has come up, limits the number of non-executive directors serving, also introduced independent directors with a clear cap. At least a percentage of the directors on the board must be independent. That really, really should help. As we move along, we expect to see these things being dealt with in a timely manner, and it takes quite a bit of time.
Okay, tell us, shareholders are at the heart of any listed companies. So why should they care about corporate governance?
Corporate governance is everything. Actually, everyone should be really concerned about corporate governance. It's what attracts investors. Shareholders are looking at positive return. Everyone has a few shares here and there that they hold. You really want to see this growing. No one wants to lose their money. But you see, that's really the effect. When there's poor governance in companies, it has a direct effect on how companies' profitability. That's why as we move along, all these requirements, shareholders, I'm certain, will be looking at how well do you report as required by the authority, and then now we'll start scoring from there. So I think there should be, the CMA's actions will really help shareholders see where is my money better taken care of.
So as far as still on shareholders, could you tell us what are some of the questions that shareholders should be quick enough to ask these companies and these people who are in like management of these companies, so that no loopholes are left in as far as the, of course, shares is concerned?
Well, I think having, as I mentioned earlier, there's a requirement to engage shareholders. This is a requirement that's very clear by the CMA. As we're conducting governance audits of companies, find there's a clear requirement on shareholder education. It's a requirement now for companies to engage in that, and very soon we'll see more of that. That occasionally what happens in a typical AGM, shareholders will ask questions about dividends. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, whereas it's about how much you make out of a company, there's a broader outlook. We expect, I think, having been in this space for a few years now, there's more talk about shareholder representation on these boards, especially minority shareholders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So really that's what the talk we expect to have. And I think as they get more enlightened, they'll get to ask the right questions at the AGM. Most companies are now also holding periodic shareholder briefings, which really helps. Meeting 1 hour every year will never help. Yeah.
Okay, out of curiosity purposes, should a person considering to probably invest in a certain listed company, once they hear bad news about a company, maybe it's falling, maybe it has corruption issues or transparency issues, would you advise them to pull out, or what's your advice?
Well, I think that's a personal decision to make, but I think the issue is make sure that doesn't happen. If you ask the right questions at the right time, keep engaging. Anyone who's attended these listed companies' shareholders, the companies which have thousands of shareholders, but very few attend. But of late, we've seen shareholder lobbies coming up, which should be encouraged. However, you're not at war with the shareholders. People just need the right questions asked and to get the right answers. Yeah, so we'll need to keep engaging, have other market regulators also help in educating shareholders on really go beyond that dividend question.
Okay, so Capital Business wishes you all the best.
Thanks a lot, Margaret.
Yeah, so keep it Capital Business.